We have a good number of new guys. I think there's about 11 in total new guys. So part of it, I suppose, is bringing them up to speed with the structures around the way we play, and also, I suppose, first of all, looking at those new guys and how many we can integrate immediately into the team, perhaps, who are at that level, and then I suppose coming up with a game plan that suits those personnel. But a big part of it is just getting me used to the different concepts around, we'll say, structured defending and attacking and all that side of it.
Yes, Waterford football manager Benji Whelan there, speaking recently at the TQS integration sponsorship launch. Benji back on board, of course, with the Waterford footballers for the 2020 season. They play Limerick in the McGrath Cup on the 2nd of January in Fairfield and play the same opposition on the 25th of January in their opening round of the Alliance National League. The Déise hoping to get out of the dreaded Division 4 this season. Going to be a number of changes to the panel. I know they're working very hard behind the scenes, and during the course of the week I got the reaction of former Déise football selector Tony Corcoran to look back at the 2019 football season, look forward to 2020, along with his highlights of this season. One of which, of course, was his own club, St Saviour's. He was manager of the Saints as they returned to the senior football ranks for this season. They edged out Medeligo by a solitary point to win the county intermediate football title in Fairfield in October.
Yeah, I'm actually delighted. I think, in fairness to the lads, they put in a great effort this year. It took us 3 years to get back up again, and it's no easy feat. It's very, very hard to win any championship. Is very, very hard, and we were pushed all the way this year, especially in the county final. Medeligo, it went down to the wire, and we were lucky enough that in injury time of that game we actually got a point to win it. And it was great because most of our lads, bar one of the lads, that was their first football county title at adult level, and they were actually absolutely thrilled, and and it was great to see that. We had set out this year to try and get back up senior, and that's what we have achieved now, and the whole thing now is to try and build on that and hopefully progress next year.
Absolutely, and a lot of young blood in the team as well, guys kind of stepping up to the plate the last couple of seasons, and went out, I suppose, with no fear this year.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like you're trying to build the young lads all the time. You're trying to give them confidence in playing at that level, and you're trying to raise the standards to try and see, look, are we good enough to go up senior? Maybe 2 years ago when we came down from, or 3 years ago when we came down from senior, we're saying, yeah, look lads, we probably don't have the panel at this stage. So we brought on the last 2 years now, we've brought on a couple of young lads and into it, and then we encourage them to play, and they've got game time, and which is good for them, so so hopefully we can build on the start of next year and just try and lift it again, and try and what we want to do next year is we definitely want to compete in the senior grade. We don't want to be hanging around relegation again. If we can avoid that at all, it'd be great. So we'll just have to, it's going to be hard work, but we're willing to do it.
Absolutely, and they're on merit, as they say, and of course went up to take on Temple No of Kerry in the Munster Club Championship. A great experience, and acquitted yourselves well on the day, Tony.
Yeah, we played very well at times. Unfortunately, we had two sucker punches just before half time where Temple No got 2 goals on us, and it kind of knocked us a bit. But still, look, we went up there, we scored 2-9 against potential All-Ireland champions. Those guys went on to win the Munster title there last weekend and win it quite easily.
Cricket score, really, wasn't
it? Yeah. So I know that the lads themselves after the game, although we had acquitted ourselves well, as you said, we were a little bit disappointed that we could have done better. And I suppose that's experience. It's just experience from some of the younger lads and things like that. So a few things happened on the day. We lost our goalkeeper in the warm up, and we had to change things around a small bit. And but that's life, that's sport, and it was brilliant down there. Great. We had a great day for the club. Everyone enjoyed the day. It was a great venue. I have to say, Temple No down in the Kenmare Bay. It was absolutely
pretty unique. I'd say
pretty unique, and a couple of legends there. Pat Spillane was there. His young lad came on the game, and all the Spillanes. But it was great encouragement for our lads, to know that we played against some of the Kerry senior team that had played in the All Ireland against Dublin back in September, and it gives young lads a bit of belief to say, yeah, I can match any of these. We can put it up to them. So look, we were disappointed with the end result. We were probably a little bit disappointed after the game that we didn't perform that little bit better, but we had done quite well, in the game, so we were delighted with that.
Absolutely. I suppose just looking back at the year then, Waterford football wise, Tony, there was a lot of progress made. Of course, great performance against Clare, and I know Drew Westmeath in the qualifiers was a tough draw, but a lot of progress made by Benji. And
Benji's first year, and I'm sure Benji will have learned from a few things in the league, and he'll try and put it right. I know they're back training. I know they're going fairly well at the moment, so I look forward to seeing how they'll compete in the National National League Division 4, and they should be trying to challenge that league next year. Definitely. I know they go out every year with the intention of doing so, but I think with the panel he has now, he's a lot of young blood coming in there, a lot of fellas eager to have a go, and you know what, it might rejuvenate the whole thing again and get up to speed and challenge Division 4, and rightly so. They should be trying to get up there. I mean, that's try and get to Croke Park for that league final for a lot of the lads would be huge for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's so tight every year, and you know what I mean. I know teams like Wexford and Carlow are back down there this year after making progress. You have Paul Galvin in there, of course, at Wexford. So every team, I suppose, is trying to start the league well, I suppose.
Yeah, of course you do. You try. Your first couple of games are very, very important, because you lose one or two of the first games, you're chasing the pack. Then after that, so it's important to get a win maybe in your first two games. If you can get a win in both games, it does, and it builds confidence as well for the team. I've been involved in the team over the last number of years there, where we're beaten by a pint, by 2 pints, by a pint, and it's soul destroying, knowing that we had chances, we could have been on that, we could have been up there, and unfortunately that's sport, and that's the way it is. But I'm looking forward to the actual league this coming in after Christmas now, just to see how they go.
Yeah, absolutely. On 25th of January, I think it's that weekend of Limerick at home, first night in Fairfield. It's probably a nice game to have. It
is, of course,
win there, and it kickstarts the whole thing, doesn't it?
It does, of course, and the thing about it is they'll have Limerick in the championship then later on in May. So it's maybe it's good to get that game out of the way early in the year, so they're not they're not too close to the championship. Rather have them at the start of the league than have them at the end of the league. So look, they Limerick now will be. They'll be as set up as Waterford will be set up, for the first end. They'll be looking at Waterford as a chance of getting 2 points on the board, but Waterford will be looking at Limerick at getting 2 points on the board. So I would see who home advantage might prove vital in this one.
Absolutely, and you've been there yourself the last couple of years. How that start, I suppose, is crucial, really, isn't it, to build momentum? And I know Watford last year just didn't get the rub of the green the first 2 games, and then ended up finishing, I think second or third in the table.
Second or third, yeah. They got a run near the end of the league, which was excellent. And maybe, as I said to you, maybe Benji only found his feet then at that stage halfway through the league, and he started, no, hang on, we need to do this, or we need to do that. So he's learned, and of course he has a good backroom team behind him. And there will be a lot of young lads introduced this year. I know that by talking to one or two of them, there will be a couple of young lads introduced this year, but you try and build on the success of the club scene, Rathcormac rejuvenating the whole thing by winning after 20 years, getting them back online, which is good for those guys, because that gives them the Rathcormac contingency, gives them the 5 or 6 lads they have on the panel, it gives them a little bit of confidence going forward, that they can influence the county team, and they should have no fear, any of the teams in Division 4, absolutely no fear.
We love Waterford. We are WLR.
Look, you just need to look around you to see what it means, This is what it's all about. As I said to you, Gavin, during the week, this is a community effort. It's a whole community. As the old African proverb said, it takes a whole village to rear a child, and this is what it's all about. These are all children of the village, the product of the village. That's what we're looking at here today. There's only one village.
As I said to you early in the year, I think I remember saying they've been coming for a few years. In fairness to Ger Power now, I know Ger well. Ger has been working with this gang over the last number of years, and they haven't performed as they should. But for this year, everything went right for them. I know we had played them in a challenge game during the summer there, and I even said to our lads after the game, I said, watch that team. I said, they're county title contenders this year in the senior. I said, so just watch them. And it proved right that they won it. And it's good that they won it. It kind of broke the monotony, the big three, the Nair, Balnacorty, Stradbally, it broke that monotony for the last couple of years. And it's been 20 years, and every club, they enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it, Gavin, as well.
I was down there. We're doing a bit of work down there as well, but yeah.
But it was great, and I'm delighted for them, because there's some great lads in Rathcormac. There's some of the Currys, and you have the Powers, and you have the Murrays.
Love their football down there, don't they?
They love it, and in fairness to them, they're good and they're sound and they're good football people.
Absolutely. And of course, if you look back at the whole Munster Club Championship, I know Paddy Gerine was actually mentioning this during the week, that yourselves, Rathcormac and Ballydufflow, all acquitted yourselves well in the Munster Championship. And I know they were at the Eastern Convention the other night, that all the football titles went east this year, which is not something you see every year.
No, it's not something you see every year. Yeah, which is good. It just like if you ask anyone, the East Waterford is kind of traditionally a hurling side of the county, and but nowadays it doesn't make a difference really. And you look at at the hurling clubs then that they done very, very well. We have St Mary's in the Munster final, you know, you have Ballysagar beaten in the Munster final, and you have Ballygunner beaten in the Munster final, you know, whereas the football teams didn't get past their first round. Now look, that's what it is, and but having said that, each of the teams did acquit themselves well in Munster, and you know, nothing to be ashamed of by any means.
Absolutely, yeah, a lot to look forward to going into the new year. And as I say, the Munster Championship draw, Waterford, they have Limerick at home, and win that game, you're playing Clare, then whom Waterford came very close to this year. So it is, I suppose, nicely set up. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the Tier 2 Championship as well, I suppose. But your aim, you don't be thinking about that, I presume, at that stage of the season.
No, your first aim, your first always, and any manager that looking after a team, you'll be gearing towards the first round of the championship, and that's the Limerick game. You know, Waterford have to prepare as best they can for that game, and hopefully the fixtures will go right from. Hopefully, you know, and they need everything to go right from. They need the injury free. We need all the, you know, the clubs behind the county team. We need a whole lot going, because Waterford do, you know, and it's about time they won. They got out of that and won a Munster Championship game again. You know, get in there and get that win under their belt. You know, and I suppose you mightn't get a better opportunity than this year. But having said that, the work still has to be done to make sure that happens. You know, and I'm sure Benji and his team will make sure that will happen. You know,
looking back at the year as well, and I know people were mentioning it, and probably a bit biased on this myself when we were putting reviews of the year together, that the under-20s that win against Clare this year in Farfield,
brilliant,
live long in the memory.
No, it will, of course. Yeah, I mean, you were the manager of the team, and fair play to you. I know my own young lad was playing that night as well, and it was a proud night. I you know, as a dad seeing your own young lad playing, it was proud. Yeah. It was a proud night for me and my family. No more so for you as manager, and yourself and Gary Herney. You know what I mean? And the effort you put into it just goes to show that they were, you know, they were fairly favourites coming down. That Clare team, they were very, you know,
had a lot of work done. I think
a lot of work
January,
done.
February,
yeah,
maybe, you know?
yeah. And you didn't get the time with your gang, but the boys, in fairness to them, they knuckled down and they got through it, and it was a beautiful night. These are the memories that you have. You know, it was a beautiful night in Farfield. It was a great game. Went to the wire. You won it by a pint. There was a couple of frees missed in the last minute of the game by both teams, and you know, could have went anyway. But the boys held out for it, and I thought a well-deserved win on that night. You know, and just look at it. The week later, then, or 2 weeks later, you went to Clonakilty to play the Cork team, who eventually went on to win the All Ireland. You know, and if things had gone right, there was a few things went against us on that night down in Clonakilty, and you know, that Cork team were very, very good. They blew everyone out of the way, and you know, they blew Kerry out of the way in the Munster final, and they got Dublin in the All Ireland final and just blew them out of it. You know,
exceptional team, really.
Exceptional team. Unfortunately for us, we met them in the semi-final stage. You know, but
no, it was a great.
But it was great. Having
said
that, yeah, because you know, football championship wins don't come around too often in Waterford, and that was one of the memories I have of this year. You know,
absolutely, yeah, certainly a fond one indeed. And I suppose we're only just chatting to Tom McGlinchey the other day. He's involved with the Tip under-20s next year, and of course we had that great win in July last year, and now this year that the championship is commencing the 12th of February. Is it fair on teams like
you know, it's very, very hard at that to come in February. I always find it's very, very hard because lads, they need a break. The body, you know, most lads, no matter what you're playing, and you'd have lads playing college football now. You know, most of them are playing college football from October on to December in leagues, and now they go into their different cups now after the Sigerson Cup or the Trench Cup or whatever the cup is played in football in
colleges and
in the colleges,
pre-exams and everything
exams,
going on,
and it does take a little bit on young lads. The commitment levels have to be huge, and I suppose you know, you look at this the whole thing about player welfare and stuff like that. I know the GPA have been working very, very hard to try and correct that and make sure players are looked after, and but putting all these competitions on so early in the season, it is, and it's hard for a group like, I know you're involved again this year, but it's hard for, you know, to try and get trainer sessions organised over the Christmas period and stuff like that, to get teams together. No one wants to train on these cold, wet, murky, raining, freezing cold nights. You know, it's hard. But
I wouldn't fancy going out with myself later.
I know. But that's what I mean. Players, only the committed lads will really, really do that, and you need your 25, 26 really committed lads to do it. You know, to put up a performance and to have a go at it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know that the they have this development league before that. Then the first round of that is on the 3rd of January, so it leaves very little time, I suppose, to get panels in place and, you know, what guys you have available as well.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's right. You know.
No, it's probably not. But look, there's people up there in headquarters, and they're trying to make these decisions to try and suit everyone to be the best, try and run their competitions the best way they can, and we have to go and see with it. You know, that's what they're paid to do. They're looking after the competition, so we just see how that goes. You know.